story.
Did you know Shaq is a flat earther?
Is he really? Oh, my God. You're kidding me.
He said it himself. I've been on planes. I
mean, if I was that cross-eyed, too, I probably wouldn't be able to be able to see round objects, for fuck's sake.
For real, I mean, he couldn't even hit a fucking free throw. So, yeah. I mean, of course he's going to see planes and shit differently.
Somebody going to toss me the rock.
Going to see curves.
And I'm just going to try and get it through the hole. Past the net.
It's like, with your size, if you can't do that, you should be, I don't know, a professional wrestler.
I couldn't see him doing that, though. That takes discipline.
Well, with his size, you don't really need all that much. Think about a little bit smaller than Andre the Giant, but Andre was not going to be flipping
Andre the
around.
Giant would fuck Shaq's world up. Andre the Giant would destroy him. The Giant
was like...
Yeah, if you could get him to fight.
Was like a third bigger than Shaq was. And a third
he was 500 pounds.
Exactly.
Really? Andre the Giant was 500 pounds?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
He was, 7'4", I think?
Yeah, something like that. And he was apparently one of the sweetest men in the world.
Yeah, the gentle giant is what they called him.
Yeah, I could see that, like, I could understand that. When
Everybody
you're that
loved
big,
Andre the Giant.
Why would you ever need to be violent?
Right,
in
right.
any way.
Yeah.
Because you would just kill someone with one punch.
Well, I think that's something that all boxers and wrestlers have to keep in mind is if you do get into a scuffle and you end up seriously injuring somebody, the legal ramifications are much worse for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because with boxers, your arms are considered lethal weapons.
Yeah. Same with MMA, yeah.
Yeah, true. So, and that must suck too, because I bet a lot of people want to take pop shots at.
Oh God, yeah.
MMA
yes,
fighters.
they do.
Everybody, like, I was watching an interview with Mike Tyson, and he said, anytime I ever go out, I don't go out anymore because somebody wants to hit me.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right.
And I know I would kill him.
Yeah,
Yeah, you would. Like, one right hook from Mike Tyson, you're dead.
I mean, think about going out and getting drunk, and Mike Tyson shows up.
What's the first thing you want to ask?
Yeah. Can I punch you? I want to ask him about the face tattoo, but I've heard that's a bad idea as well.
I would just ask him when's the next season of Mike Tyson Mysteries coming out.
Oh, yeah. They quit making those, didn't they?
I think so.
Or if he ever played Mike Tyson's knockout.
Punch Out.
The answer to that is a resounding yes, actually. He played that on one of the late night shows.
I think it was Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I believe.
And no, he absolutely cannot beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson cannot beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember having a shitty-ass time when I got to him. It's like, I know it's possible.
Yeah.
I know it is.
It's not a very fair fight.
But you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the patterns always switch up on you. They're always the attacks are always random.
I think I remember hearing there's something that happens out in the audience. Obviously, there's the twinkle in Mike Tyson's eye that lets you know.
The camera flash.
The camera flash, thank you.
That's how you gut punch Bull, by the way.
Yeah.
You can beat him every time when he gets in the squatting position and goes for his patent uppercut.
Yeah.
When that camera flashes, you hit him.
Thank God the developers put that in there because otherwise I don't think I would have ever. I have not beaten Mike Tyson, as a matter of fact. I know that I've gotten to him.
I've gotten to him. I've never beat him.
Yeah.
Like, I think once or twice I got real close, and then he just destroyed me. So I turned off the game and went outside and ride my bike. And it's like, fuck this game. I'm done.
To be eternally beaten by an NES game. We all have that story as well.
Yes.
For me, I have yet to beat the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Ditto.
Which by today's standards apparently is a little easier than...
You mean the side-scrolling one?
No, the top-down. Well, it's side-scrolling when you're in the sewers. The original TMNT, you know which one.
Probably.
The dam level.
Once I see it, I can guarantee it.
Yeah. I've gotten very close to the end, and then it just becomes unruly difficult. I cannot beat that game to save my life.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem with video games is, like, if it gets too frustrating, I'll just turn it off and forget about it.
Yeah.
I want to finish it. I want to beat the game, but I'm not going to waste my entire life stressing over this.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be for fun.
Right.
Well, let's get away from the negativity and video game despair. Who's beaten a video game when they were young, and what was the first video game ever to beat you both have ever beaten?
First hard one was Sonic.
Yeah.
That was the first one where I was like, this is really hard, but I want to do it. And it was also one of the first Sega games out, and it was the first one that I had for Sega.
It was the launch title for sure.
Yeah.
The first game I beat was probably Legend of Zelda. But I have beaten Home Alone 2 on NES as well, which was a complete waste of time.
Home Alone 2, was that Lost in New York?
Yeah.
Or was that 3? Which was 3? 3 had someone else, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anything after Home Alone 1 was just kind of a cash grab to be like, hey, we, made this funny movie about a kid.
I'm not sure Home Alone 1 even really holds up. I'd have to
Oh,
go
it does.
Back.
Yes, it does. That's one of
the.
the best Christmas movies ever. What
Yeah.
you talking about, man?
Absolutely go back and rewatch Home Alone. It's great.
The first video game I've beaten was Wizards and Warriors, and I did that when I was 8 years old.
No shit.
Yeah. I was so determined to beat that game. Plus, I was a Castlevania fan as well. And even though it had nothing to do with, one had nothing to do with the other, apples and oranges comparison. But I got so tired of getting my ass kicked in Castlevania, I'm thinking, you know what? I want to play this game.
Yeah.
It's like Ghosts and Goblins. It has the same type of difficulty, but I get more lives.
Ghosts and Goblins was substantially more difficult than Castlevania, I feel like.
Yes, it was.
You had 2 hits and you were dead.
And 2 Capcom games, as a matter of fact.
Oh, right. No. Castlevania was Konami.
Oh. Uh-oh.
But that's okay. Apples and oranges.
Definitely.
Does Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter count as winning a game? Because you do it one player and you go through the
Well, yeah.
Yeah, of
tournament
course it
thing,
does.
but-
You beat a fighting game single player, that definitely counts as beating a
Yeah,
game.
but I mean, does it? Because
Yes.
pretty much anyone that's played those games will eventually beat that game.
True, but I do recall Mortal Kombat 1 being fairly difficult, actually. The homebrew, at least, or the SNES version.
Goro was tougher than Shao Kahn.
Right.
I think that was his name.
Yeah. The four-armed.
Yeah, Goro. But once you got past him, it was like you were going to beat the game.
Yeah.
And today, beating a video game means you have to unlock all achievements.
Yeah.
That's completing a game. But yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Well, I kind of thought it was the same thing. But
Well, I remember the 90s quite fondly. Video games in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground.
yeah,
Anyway.
and all these memes about Will Smith is in his head. My goodness. I have to say this right now. If any of you don't know what's going on between Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, is the entanglement. It's been known for years that they've had an open relationship. But this affair is one that really is like the straw that broke the camel's hump. Well, how can I say that? Because they were in an open relationship. But August Alsina is an R&B singer. He's, about 22, 23, I think?
Is he that young?
I believe so.
It doesn't really matter. He's young.
But Jada and Will have known him since he was a teenager, and they've actually taken him in under their wing during his teenage years and everything because he was, I believe he was suffering from mental illness and he was having a series of breakdowns.
What I had heard, sorry not to cut you off, but what I had heard also is that he has some form of hereditary liver disease of some sort. And so that kind of factors into what was going on in his life. He is 27, by the way. I just looked it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what happened? I have not heard any of this.
Oh, well, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, had an affair with this young man, August Alsina. And not only she had an affair with him, it's been all over the media. A lot of people are taking jabs at Will Smith, as if, if you get cheated on, it is heartbreaking. You get cheated on by a loved one. And the way they're doing it is...
Yeah, he's getting roasted
for something that's out of his control. I was trying to find a way to see that. But thanks.
Yeah, from what I've come to understand, Will Smith and Jada had separated about 3 years ago. They've had a very tumultuous marriage thus far, anyway. And Will Smith, by the way, keep in mind, this is the guy that in the mid to late 90s was the only one out there putting out clean rap.
Yeah.
And he takes this very wholesome approach, which I don't know that.
He cusses in movies though.
Yeah. Well, he said he doesn't want to cuss in his rapping career because he promised his grandma that he wouldn't, is what he says. But yeah, I guess he has this theory or this philosophy. He doesn't believe in divorce so much. He's been divorced once already. But
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. He was married
has.
to somebody in the 90s during actually when the Fresh Prince was real hot. And then he married Jada whenever in the turn of the century. But yeah, they've not had the best marriage, and then they separated a couple years ago. And then Jada Pinkett Smith apparently got with somebody else almost right away is the story that I've heard.
Now, Jada and Alsina met each other in 2015. So she did not know him since he was a teenager. Maybe she has. I've heard that from different sources.
Yeah.
And everything. So that could be true. But according to TMZ, they initially met in 2015 when they were introduced to each other. So
Okay, I got you.
no grooming.
Well, I think the reason we bring it up here today is it really sucks that people are attacking Will
Yeah, why is
over
that?
this. I guess he's coming across as, they're saying he's coming across as kind of a punk. They had a little sit down to talk about it, and 50 Cent very famously said, "How you going to let some other dude bend your girl over backwards," or something like that. Very disrespectful shit.
Yeah, and if you don't know...
Well, I was just going to say he's had some really nasty comments on Twitter.
Yeah, and if nobody knows about 50 Cent, he is a notorious internet troll, by the way. This is a guy who I think a year or two ago, once he realized that Ja Rule was having a concert, I believe it was somewhere in Las Vegas or something, he bought all of Ja Rule's tickets so he would have to perform in an empty arena.
Oh, wow.
That's the type of guy 50 Cent is.
Well,
That's
if it's
kinda funny.
If it's
That
empty,
really
does he
is,
have to
because they have
perform?
a history.
What's that, Dan?
If it's empty, does he have to perform?
I mean, he's
He
probably
didn't. He got paid, though.
I know,
That's
you
the whole
got paid,
thing.
but if there's no audience, how's the casino going to say, oh, no, you have to do it? No
I mean,
one gives
by-
a shit
by-
at that point.
By contract, he probably signed something that said,
Yeah, if there are people to enjoy the show.
yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, you could go out on stage and say, hey, yep, I'm done.
Yeah.
Thanks for the money.
Thank you and good night.
Yeah, I mean, I would have just sat on my ass in the green room like, dude, you paid me. Thank you. Fine, fuck it. I don't you saved me the torment of a show.
But yeah, I don't know that I would even classify this as cheating as well. That's another issue that needs to come to light.
I said open relationship first, boys and girls.
Oh yeah, they did have a bit of an open relationship.
Yeah.
But Will Smith, I think, was very classy. They actually sat down. Jada Pinkett Smith has a television program where she sits down with celebrities. It's the Red Table, I believe. I might have to fact check that later.
Yeah.
But she sat down with her husband and they talked it out essentially. And Will Smith, he is about 50 years old at
51.
this point. 51. Handled it very maturely, and at one point he said, well, okay, you had this entanglement, is essentially what the internet has deemed it. And I think that those are the words of Jada Pinkett Smith herself. And then he said, did you mean a relationship? And she said yes. And Will Smith obviously isn't the jealous type because he kept the conversation going. As I said, very, very mature, very classy
Right.
about it. He did say, well, our marriage was in a very rough spot. And he said, in layman's terms, I was pretty much done with yo ass. He was not happy with the way things were going. And yeah, I feel as though if I were in his shoes right now, I probably wouldn't have handled the situation the same way. So good on him.
No, I don't know.
Exactly. A lot of us men are still prideful,
Yeah.
but we're not also celebrities with millions of dollars who's been in the limelight for 3 decades now. Well,
Yeah,
not 4 decades,
I mean,
the
I
80s,
guess you would
90s,
have-
2000s, 2010s.
I think you
Up
would
to
have
20s.
to clarify. Is it you as in you, or you with all his money and women throwing themselves at you?
Yeah, right.
Because that's going to be a big difference.
Very true.
Plus, he already made the decision that this relationship wasn't working out, apparently.
Yeah, and they ended
So-
up taking a break and then getting back together, obviously.
I mean,
so.
he already mentally prepared for this.
True.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it came out of the blue.
Yeah.
He, I'm sure, has someone in his mind that he's going to go after. I mean, how could you not? You're Will Smith.
Theoretically. And if they have an open relationship, then, I suppose that's...
He was already getting his.
Yeah.
So it balances out. If
And
you
now-
want to think on the carnal side of things.
Yeah, and now they have 2 kids together, and then Will has a third kid from a previous marriage, Willow and Jaden.
I know
Who-
Jaden and Willow.
Yeah, who is infamous for making not so great films thus far. Jaden,
Yeah.
that is.
I do know, though, that Jaden is pretty conscious about what he does ethically. Like, he has that water company, but he spends more than it's actually worth to get the water. So that, and then like
Well, break that down for me. What do you mean he has a water
He-
company?
bottled water.
Oh, okay.
So he pays more than it's worth to get the water, to bottle it, and then sells it. And it's biodegradable. It's good for the environment. It pays the water company more than it's worth so they can update facilities.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, ethically speaking, the kids got it. But
I thought you were going to say that he was sending water overseas to some of these places that are
probably does.
experiencing drought. Yeah, well,
It wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that.
yeah.
I mean, every time I hear Jaden Smith, though, I think of Sal Volcano's tattoo.
Yeah.
Every time.
Tattoos, plural.
Tattoo, yeah,
He's
two
got
of
2 of
them
them now, yeah.
Like, I love you guys, but if you ever tried to pull that shit on me, we're gonna have to have a long talk about our
wouldn't-
relationship.
It wouldn't be Jaden Smith, but I could think of something funny to
Yeah.
tattoo on you.
Oh man. Yeah. There's that saying of be careful of who your friends are. They may not have your best interest at heart. That show, Impractical Jokers, is all about that.
Oh, I think they get along famously.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that Impractical Jokers, I will say, I think that a lot of it is scripted up until the point where they are actually
The moment of truth.
right in front of these or out in public doing these ridiculous vox pop segments.
They can script the idea.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we're going to go. This is the game. But after that, all bets are off. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't Murr nearly get punched by some guy at a department store?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple of those guys have almost come down to
that's,
blows.
That's what would scare me about doing something like that. Is I don't know this person. They might not be mentally stable. So,
They definitely have security on hand to get in the middle
I
of
would
it.
definitely need security.
They and I don't know this for a fact actually, but I'd be willing to put money on it that they have security just like standing by, acting like
Posing as customers. Or
posing as customers,
bystanders,
right? Yeah. So
I would think they would have to, because I can't imagine an insurance company signing off on it. going,
right.
Oh no, yeah, put them in danger.
I kind of feel as though the Impractical Jokers might have to wrap it up kind of soon, because dude, who doesn't recognize those guys, especially after they
That is
put
very
a movie
surprising.
out there?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, honestly, even if you don't watch the show, you recognize them. My mom hates that show. She thinks it's mean spirited. Like, okay, first off, to who?
Yeah, right. Perhaps to one another.
Yeah, they're mean to each other, but that's
Yeah.
the game. But even she recognizes them.
Yeah. The only one that I saw that I personally might have taken issue with if I was the sucker, as it were, they were in a grocery store and they were trying to put, I think, Post-it notes on somebody.
Oh yeah.
Or no, it was something
There was
else.
Post-it notes. There have been balloons. There have been
Yeah, which that's innocent enough.
The dog leash.
Yeah, they were putting. There was this one chick who was wearing a hoodie, and they were sticking stuff in the back of her hoodie, which is very like grade school, elementary.
Pencils.
Yeah, and to me, if somebody was doing that to me,
Yeah.
I don't think it would come to blows. I wouldn't be that upset over it, but I would have to confront that person and be like, hey man,
It would
personal space.
It
like-
would bring me
Right.
back to grade school bullies.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they're aware of what they're doing and they try to
Yeah.
keep it.
Plus, I mean, the people sign off on it afterwards. So if they don't sign, they get blurred out or cut entirely. So, I mean, it's not like the quote unquote victims aren't being compensated in some way.
And I think some of them do receive a paycheck as well for their involvement. The guys that pulled over, they did a bit where one of them was pretending like their car was broken down. And whoever would pull over to help them ended up getting a check.
And about that, if you are on any TV show or movie, or if your identity is revealed in any form of entertainment, you have to sign a waiver first. So I believe they do get compensated for that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
learned
I
that
think
in
so.
school. I've learned that in school. So
I took a.
so they may be paid actors, just like
Oh, that could be.
a Jerry Springer show, for example. And you actually had some of the same people who from different shows.
I know
That
they
were on
actually do have them sign the
different
waivers
characters.
because the ones that don't sign ended up having their faces blurred.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, you'll see someone with a blurred face. Is either they couldn't get them, or they couldn't reach them, or the person didn't want to sign.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, blur.
Yeah, what I also learned was during the 70s and 80s, The Price is Right snuck in actors and actresses.
Really?
On that show.
As-
So
Oh,
some
yeah, I
of
heard
the
about
contestants
that.
were, they were notorious for having celebrity contestants or future celebrity
Yeah,
contestants.
they would
should I
bring
say.
in character actors to play in the audience.
Yeah.
So
But-
And
but they
some would
might-
actually,
they would be
and
the
some would
ones
actually
cheering
get,
and going crazy. Oh my God! Yeah.
But you might get pulled up on stage at that point, right?
yeah, and
possible,
some
yeah.
and some actually did get
Yeah,
pulled up
okay.
on stage.
That's funny because I know that Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame, Jesse Pinkman,
yeah.
was on The Price is Right, and
Yes.
they made several jokes about that. He never got called up, or maybe he did get called up and he flubbed miserably. I think he didn't do a very good job. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering now if
I would venture to say a lot of game shows do that.
yeah.
I mean,
I have not seen The Price is Right in a very long time.
it
Neither
makes
have I.
sense when you think about it, though, because they're filmed in L.A. And who's in L.A.? Struggling actors and
Yeah,
actresses.
yeah.
Everybody wants to work, so what do? They end up getting a job as a waiter or waitress or whatever
Right.
until they get a break. So you always will put your name out there. So if someone's like, "We'll pay you $5,000 to appear on this game show," what are
Yeah.
you gonna say? No.
And The Price is Right is kind of genius because what are we actually watching when we tune in to The Price is Right?
I don't know. Capitalism,
An hour-long-
consumerism, materialism.
An hour-long commercial
Yeah,
is what it is.
it's an
yes.
infomercial where you spin a wheel at the end.
Yeah,
It really is.
And they literally tell you about products.
Yeah.
They are advertising. So it's like, wow, that's kind of genius on their
Yeah.
behalf, and people eat it up.
It's a genius move.
Yeah.
I always looked for Plinko. I just always wanted to do that myself.
Yeah.
I don't care if I win. I just want to do this.
Mine was The Mountain Climber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see that motherfucker fall off the mountain.
Yes.
That was the best part.
I caught a random episode a while back where they did the mountain climber, and they brought this lady up, and she was visibly nervous. She probably wasn't the prime candidate to be on a show like that. They showed her a can opener, right? A simple can opener. It had some like really neat looking grip to it, but they're like, how much do you think this can opener costs? She said, I want to say the exact number she said was $62 for this can opener.
Yikes.
Actual retail value was like $14. Yeah, right. I
Yikes.
love that face you're making, Dan. That's priceless. Pardon the pun. so-
62.
$62 for a can opener, so you just see the little mountain climber go. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, everyone's going
Doom-ba-doom.
facepalm.
Yeah. Doom boom ba doom. Wow.
It's like, I was wrong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you look like an asshole on national television, by the way. Go sit in the corner.
You don't deserve a dunce cap.
Drew Carey is like, you owe us money now.
That would be funny though to see billionaires on there, because they have no idea what anything costs.
Oh yeah, true.
Billionaires, they haven't bought shit in their lives for the past however many years they've been billionaires.
Put Jeff Bezos up on there.
Yeah.
See how good he does.
Like, how much is this comb? Oh, it's a nice comb. 200?
Right.
Oh, no, Jeff, no.
Well, Jeff Bezos wouldn't know what a comb costs because obviously
Yeah.
he's never used one.
That's a fair point. Fair point.
Bum bum ba doom.
Yeah, talk about a divorce settlement. How much did she ended up getting?
16 billion or something ridiculous
Yeah,
amount.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
It really was.
Can't really. I mean, normally I would say she didn't deserve that money, but if you're married to the guy that runs Amazon,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
worth what, 150 billion?
Something ridiculous. Right.
Okay, yeah, get your payday.
I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, and I think you deserve to be just fine as well. I mean, you may not have earned $16 billion, but you're also not the type of person that's going to say that you did. Like, what was it? What was the Jenner kid that said self-made billionaire? No, your fame got you billions. That's not self-made.
Your last name.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
A lot of people like to say Bill Gates was self-made. He came from a line of rich, affluent ancestry,
Yeah.
should I say.
plus he kind of ripped off Steve Jobs in a lot of ways.
Of course he did.
So,
Yeah. At least we forget Bill Gates was a little bit cutthroat
yeah,
during his
that's why.
uprise.
That's why I think he's doing a lot of these charities, is to kind of make amends for all the things he did to get where he is.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but guilt can make people do things that they wouldn't normally or wouldn't historically have done.
Well, he
he-
needs to reconcile for putting out those shitty Windows phones.
Yeah. And Zune. On that note, guys, I think it'd be a good time for a little break.
Masturbation Station.
We will be back in just a minute.